Hello. When you are discussing how to write well, whether it's writing a paragraph, an essay, a business report, or an email, it's important to understand what it means to write coherently. So I have a series of videos which will define what it means to write coherently, and I'm giving you pointers and examples to help you so that your writing flows smoothly and you're using coherence in your writing. So the first thing that I would like to explain is that a good paragraph must be coherent. What that means is coherence is sticking together. Your ideas should stick together. The ideas must be presented in a very logical order, and you must also link one idea to the next because you want to make sure that your train of thought is very easy for your reader to follow. Now, I've discussed several ways that a writer can achieve coherence in his or her writing. The first one is you must be sure that the sentences in your paragraph are arranged in some kind of a logical pattern. And we're going to look at 3 patterns of arranging your writing so that it's logical and coherent. The second point that I want to refer to is here, and that is the use of transition devices. Now, transition devices are words or a group of words, an expression, that are used to connect ideas. And this makes your sentences and ideas fit together smoothly and flow. So let's take a look at, first of all, the 3 ways of ordering your ideas. The first method is called writing in chronological order, which is the same as time order. The second is space order, and the third is order of importance. Now, because there's a fair bit to discuss in each of these types of orders and ways of ordering your ideas, I've included one video. This one will deal with chronological order. I have a second one which deals with space order, and then a third video which deals with order of importance, so that you can look at each one separately, analyze it, and then move on from there. So the type of order which I'm going to be discussing in this video is called chronological order, which is also the same as time order. Now, in this type of order, you will have items, events, or ideas which you arrange in the order in which they occur or in the order in which something should be done. And this is one of the most common methods of ordering sentences. Chronological or time order is a very common way of organizing your thoughts. So in this method, the writing will move either from the present to the past or from the past to the present, depending on how you want to present your ideas. You would have to make that choice. Now, chronological order suits different types of writing. So how do you know when you should use chronological order? Well, it fits very naturally in a narrative paragraph. A narrative paragraph is a paragraph that tells a story. So when we tell a story, we tend to follow the story as the events are unfolding. So this is a good method to use chronological order as you're telling the events. First this happened, the next thing that happened, following this, that's the next point that you want to raise. So it's great if you're telling a story for narrative. Also, chronological order works well with process writing. Process writing is, for example, how to. Like if you were writing a paragraph on how to change a flat tire, or if you were doing a piece of writing on how to overcome a bad habit. How to, you'd also go in chronological order in the steps involved in breaking this bad habit. As well, it can also be used for example paragraphs and descriptive paragraphs as well. So this type of order can be used very effectively in different methods of writing. Stories, instructions, and historical facts do use time order in order to add coherence. So how do you begin to write a chronological order paragraph? Well, I've broken it up into 3 key areas. First, you'd start by writing a topic sentence where you're going to introduce what you're going to be proving. The next step is you're going to list all the details as they happen in order, and you make sure that you're following a time sequence. So if you were recounting in a paragraph a dream that you had, you'd start with your introduction to tell me maybe in one sentence what the dream was basically, the gist of the dream, or that you had an upsetting dream. Rather than the gist of the dream, you might start with the fact that you had a very upsetting dream last night. Then you would list all the details as you can remember them in consecutive order so that the reader can follow you. And then the last point is you will have a conclusion to your paragraph, like a closing clincher sentence. Now keep in mind that it's not enough that your sentences just follow into another in proper order. That's very important, that's crucial, but you also need to connect your ideas. And in order to connect your ideas, you have to include something called transition words in the body of your paragraph, which will add to the coherence of your paragraph. Now, transition words should be used for any kind of writing. This is just a paragraph unit, but it makes no difference if you're writing a paragraph, an essay, a longer piece of writing. If you're writing a report, a business report, you really need to use transition words in order to help your ideas to flow. So I've included transitional words and phrases that can help to guide a reader in chronological writing format. And here they are. I just will read through them quickly. After or afterward, first, second, or third. These are all good words, transition words to include in the body of your writing. Suddenly, while, before, during, eventually, later, then, when. Other choices are meanwhile, soon, finally, immediately, next, earlier, rarely, subsequently, simultaneously, meaning at the same time, once, at length. Oops, sorry, I used simultaneously twice here. Furthermore, generally, also, lastly, and a couple more, basically and additionally. These are words that will join your ideas. Now, sometimes there are phrases. It's not just one word, such as basically or first or second. There are some phrases that show transition, and they're good transitional words. Shortly after that, along the way, later on, as soon as, the following day, if you're recounting a story, moments later, while this was happening, later that day, at that very moment, an hour later, after all of that, at last, during all of this, before long, a few hours later, by noon, still later, a few days or a few hours later or a few minutes later, before the sun rose, in the year 2010 or in the year 20, whatever the year is, for a minute, during the day or during the morning or during the night, in the first place, just in the same way, before long. Right? So these are all examples of transitional words when you're writing a paragraph that deals with chronology or time. So refer back to this list. It's a handy little list. You might even want to print it off. And keep it in mind for any time you're writing. They're good words to have on hand to include in the body of your writing to keep your writing focused. Now, I've ended this video by including an example of a chronological or time order paragraph. I'm going to read the paragraph with you, and then while I'm reading it, keep in mind, try to pick out the transition words that I have included in this paragraph and see why this paragraph flows well, how it's a good example of using coherence in a paragraph. A special Mother's Day. My husband and 2 young sons wanted to make Mother's Day a special day for me. They informed me early in the morning that their plan was to treat me like a queen for the day. First thing in the morning, they presented me with a special breakfast in bed, which included scrambled eggs, pancakes, toast, jam, and orange juice. Shortly after that, my younger son brought me a cup of vanilla cream coffee together with the Sunday newspaper, and I was encouraged to relax in bed for the morning. An hour later, my husband informed me that he had organized a vacation day for me. The family planned to divide up all my regular tasks for the day and complete them while I enjoy a leisurely walk in the park, followed by a long, relaxing bubble bath. To end this perfect stress-free day, my family cooked a tasty pasta dinner and baked a delicious homemade chocolate fudge cake. And the concluding sentence, by the end of the day, I felt relaxed, special, and extremely lucky to have so many loving people in my life. All right, let's look together really carefully at this paragraph, taking a look at the introduction, the conclusion, the supporting details as well, and the transitions that have been used in order to add coherence. So looking at the opening sentence, this is your topic sentence. My husband and 2 young sons wanted to make their Mother's Day a special day for me. So that is what you're going to be discussing. So you're stating what your topic is, which means the rest of the paragraph will expand on how they made this day a special day for you. So a nicely worded topic sentence. Now this is all called the body of your paragraph, where you're including all your supporting details. So there are a lot of details. Notice it's a time order paragraph because it's talking about what they did first and then next and then so forth. So let's take a look at all the transition words that have used. First thing, so that's the first thing they did. They brought you a special breakfast in bed, and it explains what the breakfast included. Shortly after that, so we're going in order, and there's your transition. Shortly after that, my younger son brought me the cup of vanilla cream coffee with the paper. An hour later, so going in order, another transition word. This is what was done an hour later. And then you're getting close to the end of the day. So to end this perfect stress-free day, your family cooked a tasty pasta dinner and a chocolate fudge cake, and there's your conclusion by the end of the day. So very nicely worded. Good use of transition words and transition expressions. Shortly after that is a transition expression. An hour later is a transition expression. And now let's look at the conclusion. By the end of the day, I felt relaxed, special, and extremely lucky to have so many loving people in my life. This is a great concluding sentence, also called a clincher sentence. You get the reader thinking, the reader's reflecting on thinking, oh, that is a lovely thing for a family to do for a mother on a special day. And also the concluding sentence has referred and goes back to the opening sentence, the introductory sentence, where you're just saying how lucky you are because it was such a special day. And the word special was repeated. Without it being an obvious choice of repetition, it's linking. It's linking the final sentence with the opening sentence. So review this video, and please let me know if you do have any questions. And if you are uncertain as to what I mean by a topic sentence, a clincher sentence, or conclusion, and the body of your paragraph, which includes something called supporting details, then if you look in my website under the paragraph unit, I have explained each one of these terms with examples, and I have a separate video for each. Thank you so much, and please stay tuned and watch the second part of Coherence, and it will teach you a second type of paragraph to write coherently. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.